Good morning, welcome back to the Student StarCraft AI Tournament weekly broadcast. We have today I received a lot of recommendations, which is great. About the rankings, I can be pretty short. It is all about Mr. Crazio once again and almost taking a 150 point leap over Banana Brain, and Locutus has fallen to third place. Haven't seen an update in quite a while. And it's only to be hoped that it has been. Ironbot still hanging in there, still very strong. Teasmoo Random Purple Wave, Killabot Cherry Pie, Microwave doing very well. Oh, that's the reset. Oh, and B Reaver, Arakama, Teasmoo again, Purple Swarm, Ximp still there. And then the rest of the pack. Update-wise, we have a new bot, it's called Sidonia. And it's from the University of Carlos III in Madrid, and that will be good to see. Egbert's from there as well. Then Summer Homework Simplicity got an update. The Cactus range also got watered. And then of course Banana Brain, Willy T, Livery and Crazio, but then again that's almost not even a week ago. So you can see how Pan got an update as well. So many upgrades each week, and if this game is going to take a while to start up, Crazio's about to start a war and the first gateway hasn't been placed yet, so let's have a look at the AIIDE entrance. That is very interesting. As you can see, there are so many new faces. It's really something, and a lot of them I don't know. Cherry Pie, of course, we know, took the Student StarCraft AI Tournament 2017 finals. And then CSE doesn't tell me anything. Brian Weber, of course, we've got in the servers, but then again, about half of these bots, I don't know. And it seems like China's taking an interest. And of course, Sijashu, and the bot's not called Overkill, but Last Order, and I don't know what that's about. Leaderbot is there, and hopefully with full updates, haven't heard about that for an eternity, so let's wait and find out. Then we've got Locutus, and Locutus, let's hope it got updated. It is so very strong. McRave will be there. And Metabot, that's a nice pun on Leaderbot perhaps, but let's see what that's going to be about. Microwave is there. A couple of new bots, Steamhammer with the upgrades, and I hope Jay has been saving some for this beautiful tournament, organized again by Dave Churchill. And then Stormbreaker. Triple T K-Bot, which will be a pun on Triple Z K-Bot, Aventir, Vessel, and never heard of Vessel either, so Willy T, and then some bots from last year, Alien Aya, and Eric Hammer, CPAC, Iron, University of Alberta bot, and Ximp. So there we go, stack deck, let's watch how Cherry Pie is going to do. Crazio is missing, that's unfortunate because it is so dominant on this ladder. It's really out of the world, and I'd really like to see a tournament where Cherry Pie, McRave and Locutus all compete, but well, let's hope and wait for the Student StarCraft AI Tournament 2018. So, game afoot. Nexus first, pretty ballsy. Crazio, however, playing it pretty safe with... oh, and this wall's right on time. And even the Marine can get out to escort back home this scouting probe. So, meanwhile, gateways and a cyber core. The Marine is taking some shots at the probe, kills a probe, does a lot of damage to the Nexus. And here comes Zealot, and Zealot will kill the Marine. And now we've got two Zealots, and that's going to be a bit of an issue because... oh well, no, actually not at all. The wall is there, and this poor SCV can't really get back inside. So this was one of this week's recommendations. Let's see how it's going to pan out. The Zealots will find the ramp, and we'll start to work on the ramp, and there is no Marine in this bunker actually, so that's a bit silly, and the Zealots, they retreat. So Crazio's got a nice wall, but nothing... oh well, here, two factory units. But Purple Wave's got this natural up and running, and although the shields are regenerating still, worker-wise, Purple Wave is in a good position because although Crazio's got more workers, they're all on the main, and of course from two bases you can do a lot more. So the siege tank, blasting from the high ground, doing pretty well, and this SCV is in a pretty precarious position with only one sliver of HP left and a lot of angry gateway units in the natural. So one tank, couple of vultures. This tank, of course, is should be rocking up the front somewhat. Purple Wave, not to be deterred, is going to start a third. So yeah, there you go. Turret, couple of marines, and Crazio is pretty safe, but now already 2 bases behind. And here comes the factory push. Question is, will Purple Wave have enough to stop it? Purple Wave certainly has got 1 or 2 gateways, and that's not really an awful lot considering it's got 3 bases mining. Crazio now starting the leapfrog with the tank. Mines are not done yet, so that's going to take a little bit, but with 5 tanks already, it's going to be pretty hard for Purple Wave to try and stop that, losing 2 goons for no good reason. And this push is very, very, very hard to stop. Only 2 gateways over here, 2 more, oh, 1 more is coming. That's not an awful lot, and you can see Purple Wave's got a lot of money. If you look at the production queue, it's building a lot of infrastructure, and right now it should be really concerned that it's going to fight a factory army of almost 40 supply with only 10 supply worth of goons, and that's generally not the best of ideas. Crazio stuck behind the bridges for a little bit, but that won't take long, and Crazio is not going to wall itself in, but it's very slow with the natural, and this 1 base push appears to me to be rather vulnerable, because with a good flank and a large number of zealots, you could do a lot of damage, and Crazio can't really replenish this quickly at all. But as it is, oh, Purple Wave's throwing away a lot of units, and that cannot be good. Crazio has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 tanks and supporting units with the SCVs for repair. And cannons here, but cannons are not needed. And 1, 2, 3, 5 gates now. And a Stargate, but this is so hard to hold, and you can't really. 2 more goons got lost, and another one, and another couple. So Purple Wave really feeling the pressure of these siege tanks, and that's going to be one of the challenges, because earlier I thought with the onset of Locutus that the age of the siege tank and the slow push was done, but this slow push is just so good. You can see how many goons are dying, and the natural is in grave peril. That said though, there is some kind of an air switch going on. The first Stargate is flashing, this base is up and running, and it looks to be like carriers. So Crazio going for the natural, and the natural will be down momentarily. All the workers have been killed already. The Nexus is falling quickly under the blasts of these siege tanks, and some more siege tanks are going up to kill this base over here. Crazio still hasn't got a natural. That's really strange, and I've got the feeling I casted this game or a very similar game earlier, and the first carrier is there, and there is no anti-air, not 1 marine, and with 2 interceptors. It's going to take forever to kill all these tanks. A turret will be thrown up quickly, lots of goons dying, and the infrastructure of Purple Wave is going to be attacked. The turret is firing. Now we've got 2 carriers, that's pretty good. But 2 carriers do not yet a summer May. Crazio still, wow, maining out the main in racket speed with all these workers. Crazio's got 28 workers on 1 base, and that's just going to take a lot of effort to not get starved. But now the anti-air forces are arriving on the scene. Goliaths being produced. Will we have range as well? Yes, range has been started as well. So Crazio appears to be in a very good position. 2 carriers, and although they do quite a bit of damage, hello, that's pretty good. This base is under attack, but protected with 2 cannons, and Purple Wave could take 1 more base over here to make up for the lost natural and the mined out main. Meanwhile, we've got 1 carrier over here, 1 over there, and Gateway is not producing anything. So 2 gateways and a goon, it sucks to be a goon this game, are going to have to try well, what's actually already happened. And now with 3 carriers, and let's look at the upgrades. +2 has started, but will it ever finish? Because where is the cyber? Oh, the cyber course here actually. So that's okay. Crazio has got a natural now, so that's pretty good. And 2 carriers killing a lot of tanks. Not to be deterred by all the Goliaths that aren't all that many, but the carriers are doing a wonderful job of picking off units left and right. That's pretty good, and now some Goliaths are going to be engaged as well. And Crazio, although it's got a natural, the main is out, so it's still on one base. And oh, these carriers are so silly, they are taking so much damage from the Goliaths. It cannot work, can it? And with one base, Purple Wave struggling to stay in the game. Now with three carriers, lots of units lost, and now that's how you do it. Send in a goon and then kill, oh dear, one more carrier. So now it is 4-5 carriers. A lot of them are pretty badly damaged, but also have got a full complement of interceptors, so that's a lot of damage. And Purple Wave has got this base mining still, so that's all fine and dandy, and the +3 has been started. So that's pretty good. Crazio still on one base, has retrenched and is building a lot of Goliaths and sitting back behind some turrets. When Purple Wave retaking this base, I don't know if that's very wise, but with 5 carriers I think a lot of good can be done. Oh dear, and they are going after this one. After this one zealot. So decision making wise, not the best. Could have done a lot of damage here. Try to pick off a couple of Goliaths before the Goliath cloud reaches critical mass. And there we go. One Goliath down. Another one is going down. Carriers taking massive damage though. Some of them are quite damaged already. And this frontal assault kind of thing, it's really not logical for carriers to take the straight path, because that's where all the ground units are, and they can't really do all that much damage. You can see all the carriers are getting very low, and Crazio sitting back on one base. And I've got a weird feeling that I've done this game before, or it's a very similar game. And now the carriers start dropping. 1, 2, 3, one carrier left, and of course this base is up. Yes, it's attacked by 2 vultures. I've seen this before. Oh, and a drop shut this down. So Crazio back in the saddle and mining up a base, not really taking it. Here comes the Gateway Army, the Factory Army again, rolling over the map, and that's the GG. So next game up, it's Purple Swarm versus TCMU Protoss 2. To be honest, I haven't really heard a lot of these two bots. So is this soft enough? Yes, there we go. Haven't heard a lot of these two bots update-wise. TCMU hasn't spoken to him in quite a while, and it's really a pity because he's so very talented, and I can only hope that Cherry Pie got a massive update. Of course, Gabriel Sineev is working on it, and perhaps also Dan Gant and TCMU, and if you've got those 3 together, it is a hell of a force in Brutal AI, so watch out for Cherry Pie. Here though, the links belong to Purple Swarm, and let's see what's going to happen. Very quick lair, this must be a Spire, but with 2 cannons should be okay, and TCMU has got the Cyber Core, will start probably a Stargate as a response to this. Don't know if it actually saw it, but you can see it's going pretty well so far for both players. Purple Swarm hasn't really got the most workers, only 15, and has invested heavily in this Spire, so we'll need to get some damage done. Handful of Zerglings, 4, 5 Muters, and going after the workers. Micro could be better, and then flying into the cannons. But still a little bit of damage done, workers taking damage. Muters could be a little bit more on point, I feel, just wasting a lot of time. And with 2 more cannons coming up, I think this natural is relatively safe from Muters which are microed. Oh dear, more Muters coming, but still flying over the cannons. Muters regaining health, that's good. 1 Corsair, but 1 Corsair is a little bit of a sitting duck versus so many Muters. But the Muter micro could be a little bit better, now going after the cannons, but obviously that's not going to work with 4 cannons over there. And don't really commit, so that's a pity. Now they take down 1 cannon and then go back and relax. Worker count hasn't been climbing at all. or perhaps from 15 to 16, and one Corsair tries to chase off a lot of mutas, but obviously fails, and more mutas coming in and killing workers. But for the time being, you can see that TSMU is a little bit depressed in workers, and this gas is not really mineable right now, so we'll need a plan. And the plan is to tech rather more heavily, and what's it going to be? It's going to be some kind of Templar tech. That's good. The mutas are there in very large numbers, but they haven't got the balls to take down these cannons. They could easily, with a couple of lings running in from the front, catching a couple of photon balls, might do wonders, and now another Corsair gets killed. So the Muta Cloud is growing. You can see Purple Swarm's army is pretty big, and TSMU has now lost another worker, so down to 19. Purple Swarm though really ought to make more workers. Has got the money, ought to take another base, and as long but this Muta Cloud is really going to be a problem, because all the Corsairs which are built, they get killed instantly. They are able to chase off the mutas for a little bit, then they come back and they realize, well, we are 20 and the Corsair's only 1, let's kill it. And this kind of behavior is really puzzling to me, because any kind of combat simulator would tell you that so many mutas could take down all these cannons, and of course the Archon as well. And losing a muta like that is not like Purple Swarm at all. Another run-in, no workers getting killed, Muta Cloud is growing, worker-wise it's dead even, and now TSMU's got an Archon, and if you've got an Archon, that's always good to have on your side, especially when fighting mutas, and more especially so if you are fighting mutas which are microed like this. It's really strange, and you can see another worker killed. More mutas get killed as well, that's not good. One cannon gets sniped at the cost of 0 mutas. The Archon is still there, but it's now so that TSMU lost another worker, and this Corsair is very brave and very dead. So here they come in after the other cannon and after the assimilator, but no actual damage is getting done. No third base for either player. Oh, the observer's getting killed. But of course the overlords are quite slow, so they won't really catch it. And now there are a lot of zealots, and although the mutas are overrunning the natural, killing another worker, the micro is pretty bad, and I can envision these zealots with the Archon just rolling over up until here, killing the entire base. And oh dear, more workers lost for TSMU. Now TSMU's got to be careful, because with 14 versus 16 workers it's not a happy fight anymore, and you can't really replenish your forces. The Archon is out, is playing tag with one muta, and here come the mutas again, now doing a lot of damage, and TSMU down to 10 workers. That's not good. The Muta Cloud is so big, but the Archon is picking up a couple, and that's mainly because these mutas are quite bad on their own, but in large numbers they are apparently able to overrun the entire natural. And TSMU now down to 8 workers, and the Zealots can't really make up their mind, but I think they are going to have a go at the natural, and with 2 mutas, and oh dear, the main is being carved up, the Nexus is down, TSMU's got no more money, and that's not going to work. The Templar Archives is going to go down, but the natural old Purple Swarm is dead as well. So that's a bit of a pity. Lots of Zealots, and I think that the Muta Cloud will have to come back, because if this is going to be a base trade, and it looks like it is, these Zealots have got way too much DPS, and let's see how it's going to pan out. The lair is under attack. The mutas, they do kill the occasional Zealot, but it's going to take forever, and with only 3 buildings left, here comes the Muta Cloud, but there is still a gateway on, and the question is... Purple Swarm loses because of a gateway, and well, that's the GG, beautifully done, and now we'll have to go and watch a game. Oh, well, I need to tune it down a little bit. Let's see, yes, it's going to go rather well. It's a... oh, sorry, I can't control this game anymore, and that's really a bit of a boggle for me, and I need to stop the music and just watch the game as it unfolds. I can speed it up a little bit, but this is a first-person view of Antigua versus what looks like to be Crazio. Now let's see how it's going to play out. You can see that Antigua is playing Protoss. That's its normal race. It's his preferred race. I've got to stop saying it when I'm talking about humans. That's not really polite. And is now camping the natural, and it's waiting for some kind of a tank fire barrage from Crazio, going for the observatory and zealot speed and lots of workers. That's always good to see. Human players are very good at that, balancing workers and army. And if you are putting your enemy behind like that by camping the natural, you can just out-expand, but don't forget to make workers and army. And that's very hard for an AI to do, and humans are just so much better at that. Of course, they can swing a 300 billion neurons around, and these AIs have got not really the same amount of computing power, so that's very unfair to start with. Now I think that Antigua will have to... Antigua's going for the first siege tank, but there are 3 more siege tanks up there, and of course zealots for support. So that army is pretty much wasted, and I don't know if that tank on the ramp actually got killed. Crazio's out of the box now, and Antigua hasn't got a single fighting unit left in the world. Making more has got a lot of production capacity, so that's good. Going for Storm, I like that as a human player. With a couple of good, well-placed Storms, you can do a lot of damage. And now the Antigua army is consisting, now consists of 2 goons and an observer. But more is coming, and for a 2-base player with 8 gateways, I don't think you have got too few. And of course an AI can keep 4 gateways pumping all the time. And as a human player, that's a little bit harder to do, because you can't slap 40k APM around to accomplish that. And now you can see that Crazio is advancing. Crazio's advancing, and the waiting is for the tank blast, and Antigua will have to retreat after killing only a couple of vultures. And it's interesting to cast a game between this good of an AI and a human player, because Crazio, as we saw earlier with this new mech push, is very, very strong. And Antigua now getting supply block, but also in the propinquity of losing a couple of units and going with zealots and High Templar in a shuttle, so apparently going for some kind of drop, and also trying to not get contained, get some units out on the map to flank with perhaps later, and building a lot of pylons, because got supply blocked again, and that's not good. Got 700-800 minerals in the bank, and you need that because this push of Crazio's is coming, and it will be very, very, very hard to stop. And you can see only Antigua's view here, but the vultures have entered the mineral line of the natural, killing High Templars. The tanks will just keep coming, and they're being shielded by these SCVs, and now going for the drop. And the zealots and the High Templar, but they get absorbed almost immediately, and no mine hits. So I think that Antigua is pretty much dead in the water. I can't see how many bases Crazio's got, but that is the GG. Antigua leaving the game, and we'll perhaps do one more. Let's see, again it's going to be Protoss versus Terran, and I'm going to inch ahead a little bit, because this game is really not as fast as I normally cast AI games. So for now we've got Antigua with a lot of gateways again, lots of forces out on the map, so if Crazio is going to push, Antigua will be able to flank. And that's good, because the first vultures are running in, and oh dear, the zealots are under so much pressure. That's pretty dangerous, actually. And the flank is rather late, and that's unfortunate. And the flank had really better get right in there, because Crazio is doing a lot of damage with the vultures already, and that's even without the tank. and Crazio's also securing the tanks from the rear. The main is still safe, but the push gets absorbed by mines, and Antigua has to GG again. So, okay, well, let's backtrack a little bit. Obviously, containing Crazio in the natural and waiting for the tanks to come out didn't really work as well as planned for 2 games. So, that's unfortunate. But now we'll have another game, and human players are quite good at adapting, so let's see what it's going to be. You see a very quick goon even before the Nexus is going to go down, and perhaps that goon can do a little bit of damage, because as we saw earlier, oh, it can speed this up. Geschwindigkeit, this is of course German, and oh, this is much better. So now the goon is in there behind the bunker and is able to do a lot of damage because the factories are not done yet, and Crazio is not going to get that command center up anytime quickly. So, yeah, there we go. The Marine can't do anything about it. Crazio can't complete its natural command center, and that's going to delay Crazio's build significantly. And oh, there isn't a Marine in the bunker either, so Crazio now being put under a lot of pressure. And the question is, will it be able to sneak out the siege tank before there are too many goons to deal with? Oh, and the command center gets cancelled. That's pretty wild. And there they go, going to tear down the bunker. I think that's a good decision. But then again, you can't let Crazio sit on one base for too long, because oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's going to be a nice money soak for Crazio though. So Antigua doing quite well there. And that's a lot of mining time and minerals lost for Crazio, just trying to repair that one bunker. And now there is the first siege tank with supporting units, so that's very hard to kill. But Antigua's got 6 goons out there, and that's pretty good. So not only is Crazio delayed in constructing its natural, it's also losing a lot of money. Oh, and now it's going for the tank, and the first tank dies. There is another tank on the high ground, but with 3 goons in the natural. Ooh, almost 2. Antigua still doing a lot of damage. Crazio can't build a natural, lost the first tank, and although it's only 1 tank, it's actually worse than it seems, because with all the money lost, the mining time lost, that tank push of Crazio's is going to take significantly longer. And you can see with setting up this this goon over here, I'm going to point at it, at the ramp over there. It's going to give Antigua a nice bit of map control. The eBay, of course, is getting shot. That's good. And 2 forges, that's pretty good. Going for a Reaver drop this time, looking good. But now Crazio's got the natural started again and got quite a number of tanks. So will Antigua go for a flank or just a straight up engagement again? Going for a lot of upgrades and defending itself from any kind of run-by. So map control-wise, Antigua's doing pretty good. Crazio is just stuck on its 2 bases, and now we are going to see a Reaver drop, and pardon me for slowing it down to normal Geschwindigkeit, because it's always nice to see a Reaver drop in progress. Oh, got to collapse that again. And although the barracks is getting some shots, I think that Crazio is slowly pushing out on the map with a goon and a Reaver. Let's see how Crazio's anti-air defense actually is. And lots of gateways by the human player Antigua. Looking very well. The shuttle is moving in, and the shuttle's not being controlled. Oh, and there is a Wraith, and turrets are being constructed as well. Another turret, and the Reaver gets out just in time. Going after 2 SCVs down, 1 Marine, 2 SCVs. Oh, and that's about it. So I think the goon is going to account for 1 Vulture. So for the price of a shuttle and a Reaver, 2 SCVs, a Vulture and a Marine are not an awful lot. But Antigua is going to try again, this time with Templar Tech. And I don't know if you've got enough resources to try and do everything at once, but Antigua's going to try, and that endears him to me somewhat. But then again, Crazio has got 2 bases and can do a lot of 2 bases. The big problem is Crazio setting up a 3rd. That will be catastrophic, And that's something that Antigua should be able to check out right now, because it's still got map control. Still, the right side of the map is under Antigua's control. Could even take that forward base, but then again you'd have to defend it versus a tank push, and you can see the tanks are inching closer and closer. Now Crazio going to try again with another Reaver in a shuttle. Speed is done this time, lots of gateways and lots of tech coming up. Army-wise doing okay, but I think that Crazio's got a lot of tanks, and the upgrades are going to help for Antigua as well, of course, but Crazio's got a lot of tanks with supporting units and a minefield, so you are going to need really a lot of... oh, and no, that goon just lives, that's very good. And supply blocked, and that is where you are going to struggle against an AI, because an AI doesn't tire, can build so many things at once. And you can see now Crazio hasn't got a third in that location, which just got scouted. Oh, and there is a Wraith, immediately a Wraith nips onto the shuttle. And if I'm not very much mistaken, there are 2 Wraiths and the tanks are coming in as well. So Antigua really needs to come up with a plan, perhaps a good recall or a couple of good storms. But compared to last 2 games, there are Templar, there is Storm, there are Reavers, and I think that with 2 cannons, that expansion is pretty safe from occasional Vulture run-bys. The problem is now preventing Crazio from taking a third, because if Crazio does take a third, and oh dear, another goon lost. Map control is slipping from Antigua, Crazio is rolling, and if Crazio takes a third, either you can harass the third and make it not worth the investment. But if Crazio does get a third and does manage to defend it, it is going to be a major problem because of a 3-base situation, an AI with impeccable micro like Crazio's got, especially with these newly made pushes. It is such a hard thing to stop, and I feel that Crazio is given so much leeway this game, so much time, but then again, how do you break an AI that's playing this well? And I think that for this year's finals we really ought to find a couple of good semi-pros to test these AIs again and see how well they have gotten on. Last time we did a Man vs Machine game was 2015, I believe, and it's 3 years later, and that's a lot of time in AI time. So still no third for Crazio, looks like. That's good for Antigua. Antigua has got a huge army by this time, and Crazio is now trying to push up the ramp and take a third in that direction probably, which is good because that way it can push against the natural of Antigua and take another base as well. But the goon is doing a lot of damage, which is good, and more goons have been sent over to reinforce, that's good as well. The shuttle is going to do something more. Oh dear, that's a lot of Templar, that's pretty good. Supply blocked again though, so that's not good at all. Because with 4 bases mining, 5 bases mining, the main's still not out. Ooh, and there come the tanks, and that's going to be a lot of damage. So Antigua will have to keep up production at home, build pylons. Still didn't get to build more than 1 pylon that last round. And oh, they're losing another goon and taking some damage more. So Crazio's definitely on the warpath. And although Antigua's still holding all the cards in this game, has got superior macro, that tank push is still going to come. And if Antigua cannot hold it, if Antigua is not going to set up some kind of a flank or do a lot of damage, it's going to be pretty painful. And you can see where the damage is coming to come from. The goons are wandering off. Oh, and Crazio did take another base. Repair on the tank! 3 SCVs are repairing. The goon can't micro. It won't move up to the tank. That's pretty... Oh dear, oh dear. And now Crazio's got a third. Crazio has got a third, has got it defended. And although Antigua has got a lot of units, the tank push is coming. All the supporting units, the wraiths are overhead. There are science vessels which may even get EMP'd. Where are the vessels? Oh, and the storms are going off. Antigua is really making this work. Lots of storms. The tanks are prioritizing the High Templars. All the High Templars are down, and now Antigua is in a lot of trouble again. The rally points of these goons are not in the right position. He's got to to micro them individually, and oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, all the goons. Oh, one goon gets out. That's pretty good. But still, the Protoss army is taking a enormous pounding, and that push of Crazios, now being supported by 3 bases, is going to encroach upon the territory of the natural, and it is really, I really wonder how Antigua is going to stop this, or have to stop this, because Crazio is now out on the map. Antigua's still got the position on this this one base over here, so that's very good. But all in all, it is going to be a hell of a devilish difficult job to try and hold this. Now, matrixed tanks, vultures. You can see the blue soup. It's like a soup factory that Crazio is running. And now the Wraith is scouting out the area of the natural. And although more gates are being thrown up in distant areas, at this point Antigua hasn't got the APM to deal with that. There are Wraiths and vultures in the natural killing workers. And I don't think that with this relatively small gateway army on the ground without air support, you are going to break a fortified tank position at these bridges at all. Crazio's got this locked down, and you can see that blue blob hitting the natural again, and Antigua is trying to build as many gateways as he possibly can, but these gateway units are not going to cut it. A hard carrier switch might do a lot of good. There is the money, there is a lot of money actually, and oh, Crazio trying to take that base over there, but with the shuttle and the Reva I think it's going to be held. But more Terran units are rocking up, and I don't think that, yes, this small green dot over there is going to get killed. Antigua is losing the battle on all the fronts, and I think there is a Wraith on that shuttle, and now this glimpse of hope for Antigua dies out. The natural is under attack, the tanks are everywhere, and Antigua is going to lose the main, because these land-based units, they just can't get out. What really would have helped would have been Arbiters and a couple of good recalls, because that army of Crazios is not the most mobile, and a good recall in one of the expansions would mean Crazio losing a lot of income. And oh dear, there is a blue cloud gathering at the left side of the map as well. That's going to be pretty painful. The vultures are there raising the cannons. Couple of goons are moving out, but if there are tanks, these goons are not going to be a lot of use either, and there are so many vultures they could almost do the job themselves. I forgot to switch back to no, I don't want Korean subtitles please, I want the Geschwindigkeit, and there we go. So Antigua really fighting for what it's worth, but Crazio is just so good, it looks unbeatable. And now all the gateway units are being sent out, but with a tight choke, good air cover. Oh god, there are such a lot of tanks, it's just not going to work. And another GG. Okay, I will do one more game. One more game, and then I'm going to call it quits, because there are AI games to cast as well. And Antigua, thank you very much. Oh, sorry, I need a break. So there we go, good Reaver drop in progress now, so that's always good. There is a Wraith though, and that's going to be painful. Now straight into the main, and good shots left and right, and the Wraith hasn't really got the DPS to kill a Reaver, but damage is done. But it might have been better to load a goon along with the Reaver, but Crazio has been feeling the pressure. And then again, Crazio's got a natural, and Antigua hasn't. And that is going to be a problem. Some goons have been souped already. Lots of workers, worker transfer, good, set up good rally points, and go for some kind of an air unit. That's that may be difficult for Crazio to deal with. Say carriers and a large gateway army, because then you've got to build a lot of Goliaths, and then your tank count goes down, your vultures are basically useless against carriers, so then as a Protoss you'll have a lot more options to work with. You've just got to be careful not to lose too many units early on. Ooh, and that goon nearly got killed. So yes, Fleet Beacon, that's very good, and I think that Antigua has Although this isn't live, this is an upload of a previous broadcast of Antiguous. I'm just giving it the exposure it deserves. I think that it's going to be a wise choice to roll with carriers for a bit, because Crazio is so very, very powerful with this ground-based army, and if you can contain Crazio on 2 bases for a bit, it might work to do a good carrier switch. Now with 3 bases, 3-base carrier is very, very potent. Oh, and that shuttle, really be careful, because right about now I think that the push is going to leave the base, and the money is there. A 3rd gas helps so much with the carrier play. And wow, this is a very small expeditionary army. Oh, and now the shuttle and the Reaver are working in tandem to give the carriers a little bit more time. The goons are being sent out to buy some time as well. And I think that, yes, that goon's being sent over as well. So Crazio really has got to be careful. Oh, and these goons, Crazio's coming at Antigua from so many angles. Now even contesting that lockdown of the 3rd base. But with 3 Stargates blushing, it is going to be good to see how many carriers there will be and if Crazio can deal with that. Of course, Crazio will scan the enemy main for just that kind of ploy, but then again, it is going to be rather hard for... Oh dear, here comes the push. Oh, the shuttle just gets out with the skin of its teeth and is blasting happily away at the supporting units. But that's going to be very close. And did the shuttle die? I don't think it did. But now with 4 carriers, and that's a lot less than you'd ideally like to have. And the shuttle did die. That's very unfortunate because that was a huge investment. But now supply is needed, and Crazio's all out on the map with his powerful, powerful factory army. And going, yes, +1 weapons is much better than +1 armor. The goons are so few in number. Oh, and the carriers, where are the carriers? The carriers are going to hit the natural, and the... Oh, the poor... And you can see Crazio over the 3rd with a drop, and at the door of the natural. And although the natural of Crazio is under attack as well, Crazio by now has got that good of an economy. That is very hard, and Antigua GG's again, and will have to rethink its matchup. Oh, sorry. So now let's continue with the AI games, because we've got quite a lot, and I'll have to make some cuts in the planning. Yes, really. Okay, so new bot first. First things first, new bot. Welcome, Cydonia. And Cydonia is Lacutus-based Terran bot, uses BWEM and BWEB, still untested and unimproved, but has been receiving quite a bit of updates over the last couple of days, so let's see and find out how it's going to play. Overkill of Siegeshu doesn't need any introduction. Of course, it is strange though that the bot's now called Last Order, which makes one wonder if there is going to be any added functionality compared to this one in the AIIDE tournament. So, scouting units going all out on the map, and Cydonia is going to do a 1-base play with a handful of Marines, well, 3 actually, and will hold off the Zerglings, and now are going for some kind of a counter punch. That's good. Saving a lot of money, might go for a natural. There is a sunken over there, so I don't think that these, unless there is going to be a run by, these Vultures and Marines can get in. And there is the natural of Cydonia. That's pretty good. Now a Stargate, only 1 factory and another Stargate, and this makes one wonder what kind of a wacky build all this is going to be. Now building another barracks and another barracks, and this is going to be another barracks still. That's... Of course, it's really rather valid to play Bio versus Zerg, while Overkill is going for a very wacky, very late 2-base Spire play. If this is a Spire, yes it is. And Cydonia has got a lot of barracks, and now with an academy, and 2 starports, 1 factory, and a lot of depots, and a natural, and a lot of workers. So Overkill has got a 3rd base started, but will have to play pretty hard to hold off this swarm of units, because with all these barracks flashing, it's going to be quite hard to hold this, and I still don't know what the use of these two startboards is, but we are going to watch and find out. The Mutas do take down a couple of Marines, but there are so many Marines, and these Mutas are really asking for it. Especially this one, with one sliver of HP going to scout out the enemy. Oh, and they're going straight for the enemy mineral line, bypassing all the Marines. That's pretty clever, actually. And you can see Sidonia's worker count taking quite a bit of a fall. And if they're going to camp the barracks with 5-6 Mutas, it's going to be a ball. Now, third base of Overkill is starting. So Sidonia with the Marines fighting, but can't hook up the medics with the Marines. And is there stim? Yes, there is, but the Marines are in some kind of a fix. And I don't think we're going to see what this was about to be, but it's now killed. And there is a turret, so these Mutas do take quite a bit of damage. Overkill building more workers now with 2 Sunkens. Pretty safe. These 2 buildings are not safe, however, so... Oh, that's so very clever. I always like it when Zergs defend with as well land-based units and Sunkens in about the same area. The damage potential and the defensive potential is just so much better. Now, Sidonia with a lot of workers over here, Mutas overhead, and although there is one turret here, one there and there might not have hurt at all. Sidonia keeps building workers though, but a little bit, well, I'd say defenseless in the middle. And now the Mutas are going after the Marines, but with so many medics, it's just not worth it, I feel. And the Mutas take a large hit. Now, Overkill has got a worker lead, which is respectable versus Terran, and the Terran is still building units, still not doing anything with the StarCAIT. So, going to speed it up just a notch, because it doesn't look like the Terran can really get much done here. And these Hydras versus Stim Marines are not going to get anything done either. So now the Marines, they will have to devise a plan, if not superior numbers, to take down this defensive setup. And this exchange is going heavily in the favor of Terran. Terran has got a third base as well, so Sidonia macro-wise doing okay. Let's look at the upgrades. We'll need a science facility to reach +2. But then again, doing quite well there already. And now the Hydra Den is under attack, and this Terran army is very powerful. Overkill doesn't really manage to get any kind of good army together. The upgrades are there-ish, worker count is there-ish, but Hydras and Mutas are not going to win at all in a straight-up fight versus this amount of stimmed bio. It's just not going to happen. And although there are a lot of Hydras, and there are a lot of Marines, the Marines don't really dare engage these Sunkens. That's really odd. Sidonia, though, taking more and more bases, building more barracks, and that's quite a lot of barracks. So that's good. Starport still not doing anything, more bases being taken, and Sidonia's got 4k in the bank and is not planning on attacking these Sunkens. So that's really wacky, and I wonder what Overkill's plan is, if there is a plan. And you can see this just spinning wildly out of control. And although Overkill's got all the base on the map, Overkill got a 4th out, that's good. Now the Marines are there and they are angry, they are stimmed, they take down everything, they roam about the map. And with almost 100 army supply in pure bio, that's pretty good. No science facility, so no +2 or +3, but with all these barracks, it's just a ball to watch, and with a lot of extra money in the bank, Sidonia will win. So, well, penultimate game for now, I believe. It's going to be Banana Brain versus Cherry Pie, and Cherry Pie, I thought, well, let's have a look at it before AIIDE starts. And, well, I would have liked to do a game of Crazio versus the Cuties, but Crazio, we saw Crazio slap beat Antigua in quite many games, and you can imagine what it's going to do with the Cuties. I've shown you last week and the week before that. So Crazio's back in shape, and let's look at Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie is going to play a tag with Zealots and bring Zerglings itself. Lots of Zerglings getting damaged, but still 1, 2, 3 this Zealot is doing a lot, and some workers are coming in for some extra damage, so that's good. But Cherry Pie is really rolling on the ball. 2 Nexus each base. Well, the Natural still hasn't got one, but as a Protoss player, it's very hard to get by with only 1 gateway, and you can see that over here. 1 Zergling gets killed, another one, and the third just barely gets killed, but more Zerglings will be on the way, and with only 1 gateway, that's going to be quite hard to hold. And I think that if that's not going to be a scout, that's a Corsair, you'll need some kind of ground damage. This Zealot will get things done. Oh, and there is a scout over there, I totally missed that. And now Cherry Pie is in a quite funny position because the Natural shut down, there is a scout, and there is a Corsair, so that's really the wackiest play I've ever seen anyone play versus a Cherry Pie. The question is now, what is Cherry Pie going to do? Will there be an Evo chamber in one of these 2 morphing buildings? The Overlords are taking a generous pounding. Cherry Pie is completely supply blocked, and that allows Banana Brain to build another gateway and a Nexus and all kinds of stuff. And now Cherry Pie is it's really struggling. All the Overlords are going to go down, and although Cherry Pie is now winning the battle of the Natural, there is Zealot coming in, and the Zealot will kill only 1 Zergling. That's pretty bad, but with 2 gateways, perhaps the Nexus might be held. Actually, 2 Zealots, no, 2 Zerglings left, and still the air units got things well under control. There are Hydras now, and I wonder how Cherry Pie ever got to build a couple of Hydras with so many air units overhead. The scout is going to fall, so that will mean no more anti-ground damage, and the Hydra numbers are now rising. The Overlords, Cherry Pie's unsupply stuck, but Banana Brain recuperated greatly with a Natural, still only got 2 gateways and a lot of tech. But with 3 Zealots and these air units, it's in an okay position. Should not waste these Corsairs though, they could harass a lot more later on, and you can see how it's done. So Cherry Pie is drawn between back and forth, and while it's being fought in the back, the Overlords get killed again. So Cherry Pie, not really as adaptive, has only got 1 squad for these Hydras, and that's suboptimal to say the least, because quite a bit of Overlord damage is being dealt here. And now the Overlords, by some, as chance would have it, are hovering over to the thingamajiggy. There you go, to the Hydra Cloud. But Banana Brain is going for a 3rd, and this handful of Zerglings, that's still only 3-4 gates. Now Banana Brain is going to get into some kind of production mode. Cherry Pie, though, with a 3rd. And although, okay, now it's going to roll. This Corsair is going to get, not going to get away. The Corsairs have got bad flea micro, so that's not good. And Cherry Pie immediately, if it gets a breather, starting up a 4th base, and that's exactly what it needs. The worker count for Cherry Pie is good. Despite all the pressure, it has been producing drones. There are so many hatches. Another hatch going to be started in the Natural, relatively safe. And although Banana Brain is taking the map with large numbers of Zealots, and Cherry Pie's army is quite puny, well, there is Storm versus all the Hydras. I need to slow this down because I'll need to be able to cast it, and this is going to be one of these wide distributed war zones. The Hydras are over here. Where is the main Hydra body? There are Mutas as well. Zerglings and Zergling Muta. Zealot battle with 1 Goon and 1 Hydra chipping in. The problem here for Cherry Pie is that the Natural is under attack and it's going to lose workers. That's not good. So with only 1 sunken, it's not really in the best of positions to defend versus these very powerful heavy hit points, heavy hitting gateway units, the Zealots and the Goons. But with the Mutas and the Zerglings, it finally cleans up the Natural, and the 4th is now overrun, so these units will immediately make for the 4th. Have we got Ling speed? Yes, of course we have. We've got Overlord speed soon too. And Banana Brain is sitting back on its 3 bases, building a lot of heavy tech units, but is going to lose this expeditionary force to the Zerglings. And now Cherry Pie, I feel, is out of the box. Now only got 33 workers, and that's really Banana Brain's saving grace at this moment. There ought to be a... oh, there they are. A lot of workers produced for Cherry Pie. So 4 versus 4 bases, and army-wise it's relatively even, and must be said that although Banana Brain's got the superior army, The air advantage at this point I would give to Cherry Pie, because the Corsairs only seem to be interested in harassing Overlords, and these Mutas seem to be interested in harassing units which can't shoot back, namely combat units, and you can see Cherry Pie gaining in army supply. So that is good. Worker-wise, increasing as well, and you can see it's a mix of tech, workers, army, and Cherry Pie is on the warpath. Lots of hatches, lots of workers. Workers were only 33 earlier, has rebuilt 16 in the last couple of minutes, and upgrades are there too. Not all that many, and it's going to focus on army production, and you can see now that Banana Brains only got 23 army supply and Banana Brains got 37. So Cherry Pie's got 37. So oh, that's a nice find by one Zergling, and you can see Cherry Pie really pulling all the stops. If you let Cherry Pie go on like this, it will overrun you in a matter of minutes. Still, workers and forces being produced all at once. Lots of Zerglings. Not too many gas-heavy units, just lots and lots of Zerglings. You can see there are almost 5 to 10 Zerglings produced at a time, interspersed with mutas, with drones, with tech buildings, with overlords. And although this Reaver is going to do some heavy damage, Cherry Pie's army is now nearing 40, and with all the territory it's got, it is quite formidable. Protoss, though, has got +2, which will mean with the +1 Zerglings, armor-wise, that these Zealots are doing tremendous amounts of damage, and the worker count for Cherry Pie is falling. Although the Zealots are dying as well, the worker count is falling. 5th base now for Cherry Pie. Cherry Pie, if harassed over here, it still continues its magnificent work at the main. Oh, sorry about that. And Banana Brain is having to fight really hard to stay ahead in this game. Had 50 army supply earlier, now dropping about below 40. And the Mutas overhead, the Zerglings, the Hydra, there's harassment going on all over the place. It's really, this would be a major lawsuit against Cherry Pie with all the harassment. Oh, sorry about that. But you can see, oh dear, here, oh, I thought that was army, but those are workers, a worker transfer. Banana Brain's got a good army. There are no turrets over here, so any base is relatively badly defended. And Cherry Pie hasn't got that great of an army, but the army it's got is keeping well occupied. Oh, and these workers are going to pay a heavy price. There are only 2 mutas overhead, but that's a big loss. And now the Zerglings are fighting with the Zealots over here. There are only 3 mutas overhead, but the muta count is growing. You can see it over here. Lots of Zerglings being built, the occasional muta and Hydra. And if these mutas and Hydras are being kept alive, that means that their relative number compared to the Zealots will grow. This Reaver's doing a lot of damage, but now being sat on by a couple of mutas, and although another round of workers is getting killed, in here and in there, in these bases, the worker count is increasing, and that will mean more production for Cherry Pie, and now Cherry Pie's got the lead in army supply. Banana Brain is really struggling, can't get its show together, and although there are some Corsairs over here, this base shut down. Main, mined out. Natural nearly gone. 3rd, getting low. 4th, in an okay position. But with all these Zergs about, it's not going to be so for a very long time. And although Banana Brain got a recent update and is a very good bot, the full might of Cherry Pie will be bearing down on this base, and you can see on the minimap units streaming in from everywhere, and even taking care of the reinforcements. The Reaver is doing a murderous job on these Zerglings, but is getting killed now in the end. The 4th is down, the 3rd is held by 2 Corsairs, 2 cannons, 1 goon, and a lot of desperate workers. Zealots rushing in, but the damage will be done, and behind this, the production tab of Cherry Pie looks like a lot of Zerglings. So we'll be looking for Cherry Pie to go far this tournament, even without updates. It is so good, and Banana Brain just can't seem to stop it. The worker count has stabilized at 70. Now we've got Ultras as well, upgrades all over the place. No spells, no superior tech, just upgrades, massive amounts of units. And the Overlords in the middle of the map, it's a nice feature to have. So now you'll see what Cherry Pie can do. And although Crazio is at the top of the list, will not be participating in AIIDE, so that's a bit of a pity. For now, I wish every and each participant of AIIDE a lot of fun and good luck. This was this week's broadcast. Hope to see you again next week. Oh, and thank you for everyone who's been coding these beautiful AIs and everyone who's been recommending games. Thank you and goodbye.